What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another super exciting Art of War stream. Today, we're going to be talking 10th edition.
Yeah, 10th Talk, where we talk 10th.
Well, what a title.
A title. The Thursday 10th Talk, you could say.
It writes itself, really.
It really does. Man, the alliteration, it's just too good.
Yeah, you know, if you have an alliteration, we're basically Dr. Seuss, and he's famous.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. We got new 40K, buddy. We've got new stuff coming in the new edition of 40K, and we're here to go through it with you.
That's right. Our gracious overlord James Workshop himself has been posting all kinds of tidbits across the Warhammer community website. We've been going through and doing live updates as we get those things, but you know what? That has led to a pile of different videos where the information is relatively scattered, and also amongst all these different scattered Warhammer community posts. So we thought, why not take all that information and condense it down into one wonderful video where we talk about 10th.
Absolutely. So this is the start of, I believe, a series where we go over the changes in 10th edition. Mm-hmm. And we're going to break it down in a digestible way so that everyone knows, hey, this is 10th edition.
This is 10th. And of course, we are competitive Warhammer players. Jack is the current ITC champion. I'm the former ITC champion. At this channel, we do competitive Warhammer battle reports, strategies, tactics, anything to help you not only get better at Warhammer, but also enjoy your hobby more. So we're going to be looking at it through the lens of competitive Warhammer players and talking about maybe potential ramifications or extrapolations about what these new rules could mean for the upcoming edition. If you like this kind of content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment telling us how handsome we are. It really helps us keep going.
All right. Especially me. I need that.
He does.
We all do.
We all do. All right, everybody. Let's get right on into it.
Let's get into talking 10th. First up, we got some new models.
Very exciting. I was looking through the trailers earlier, and I noticed the Terminator Librarian. He's like really, really cool looking.
Yeah, he's tanked up. Like that dude thick.
He's thick. He's got these runes. I think he's awesome. The Terminators, they look a little the same to me, you know?
They're much bigger. I didn't include the picture of them next to the Terminator before.
Oh.
But when you see the picture of them next to a current Terminator, the hunched over.
Yeah.
Guys, no. These guys are striding across the battlefield. And you can paint them in a variety of schemes.
And the Phobos Lieutenant, he seems to be packing a combi melta.
He's packing that looks like a combi flamer, the one he used in the trailer.
That would make sense.
He's got paired combat knives that look like they've seen some use. He's even got a trio of combat knives. There's one in a guy on his foot.
Dude looks combat.
And then he's got a Tyranid armor plate on his shoulder and some scars.
Yeah. He's cool. I really like these new models. They're perfectly in line with, 40K edition, getting changed, getting new sculpts on the models. They're really cool looking. They're not half-assing this new edition.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to, especially that lieutenant, but are there anyone you're looking to add to the Sons of Colgate?
Oh, that librarian might have to make it in. We all know I like my crazy librarians that never pass their powers.
That's true. You can roll anything you want, just not a psychic check.
But you know what? Psychic checks might be different these days.
Maybe things are different in 10th edition. Maybe you'll pass all your psychic checks and...
One can hope.
All right, but that's not the only models that are new. We've also got new Tyranids.
Tyranid Prime with wings, Von Ryan's Leaper, and the humble Termigant. I gotta say, Termigant, that thing hasn't had a new sculpt since like 4th edition, so it's about due.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe they'll update the Hormigant too. I love little jumpy boys.
Once upon a time, I heard a rumor that the Horvigon was coming out, basically a Tervigon.
What?
But for Hormigants. That was before 8th edition, and I'm still waiting.
You're waiting for the check that's Horvigon?
Look, I'm sure that's what they said prior to the Tervigon, but that exists.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But in terms of new things that are actually going to happen, we've got Von Ryan's Leapers. So these are like a unit of lictors.
Is this a unit?
Yeah, it's a unit.
Oh, that's really cool.
So it's like a unit of Leapers.
Why is it named Von Ryan? Is it like some Astra Militarum dude saw a Death Leaper and was like, I'm named Ryan, so I'm going to name you after me?
I believe they're on Von Ryan's world or something, like where they were first discovered.
So that Ryan dude named a whole planet after himself.
He did! Mr. Ryan.
What a guy.
Von Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got the Tyranid Prime, who now flies.
I love the concept of a flying Tyranid Prime. I think that's super cool. I don't love the pose, if I'm being a hundo with you.
Yeah, that might be a pose that looks better on the table or from a different angle.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
If I played with this model, I might reposition those wings or something.
I'm definitely not looking forward to having this thing have, like, the Reaper of my army's face and then jumping into it and then...
Yeah, well, it's super interesting because they also introduced the leader keyword, which we'll talk about as well. So I wonder, I'm sure he'll get to join warriors because, like, Tyranid Prime warriors.
Yeah, you would think.
But, like, warriors don't fly, maybe.
Or, God, I hope not.
They used to fly, actually.
Did they used to fly?
They used to buy wings for your warriors for, like, 14 points a model.
Did they have models for that?
In On-Forge World.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so looking forward to those. And now we get into some new rules.
That's the good stuff.
So the big changes to the edition. First off, when the 10th edition releases, your old books will no longer be relevant, but they will be replaced with free rules that you can download.
Yeah, so it's not like you have to just spend all your money and throw your money in the trash can. And they did say, you know, the lore is still relevant. They are pretty pictures. I personally have been playing this game for 20 years. I have codexes from literally 5-6 editions now. And it's nice nostalgia, to be honest. Like, I didn't throw them away, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I have a selection of old, unrelevant codexes on my shelf. And that, you know, they're fun. They're fun. But you will get rules for your army on release. It's not like you have to buy them again.
I think that's the right way to do this. If they told everybody their codexes are obsolete, spend $50 per codex times all of them.
Riot.
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 No one would be happy.
And we don't know whether or not when the codexes finally come out, whether or not I assume they will be in book form, but no way of knowing. But you will get free rules for your army when they release.
I hope they continue the trend of, like, still release a book for those people who like the books. Like, you know, for the armies I play, I'll probably buy the book. And then for, you know, ease of actually knowing how to play this game, I would really like to just click buttons and read the rules.
I will say, you know, a book that really made me want to buy it, even if I didn't own the army, was Guard. That cover looks great.
I will never buy Guard.
It looks so good. I'd never play him, obviously, but, you know, it looks really nice.
Little known fact, Jack used to be a Guard player.
That needs to... That lie needs to stay dead. I mean, it's true, but it's a lie now.
No time passes, history rewrites itself.
Exactly. So, listen, we all have things in our past, all right? Skeletons in our closet.
I used to be a Tau player. We don't talk about that.
See? But when codexes do come out, the idea is that the rules in your codex or your army or your index or whatever are designed to fit on 2 pages. So you can just have it open during a game, and that's all you need. No flipping really through. Cool. No flipping through to find this rule or that rule, you know. I'm sure this stratagem's in here somewhere. Give me a second.
I was actually just looking up, we're playing Thousand Suns on the stream next week, so I was writing my list for that. I was like, maybe I'll go revisit that Zangor detachment from the whatever book. And I had to go into the deep tomes of the Nachmans and the Vigiluses and all kinds of stuff to figure out where I even find this detachment. It took a lot of time. And then, you know what? It sucked.
Yeah, and then they have also said that when new detachments come out, they will just replace the rules in the book. So you will only ever need to have a 2-page spread open for your army.
So how would that work? They're going to place, like, I buy a physical book, and then they're going to...
So every faction will have... We're going to go over that in a second, but every faction has a unique ability that you will get. And then from there on out, everything you get is determined by your detachment that you take. Right. And there will be 1 detachment coming out for every faction. So Space Marines will have the Gladius Strike Force.
Yeah, they give that as an example. I imagine they might have more than 1 detachment, so instead of playing the Gladius Strike Force, you could play the Alpha Strike Force or whatever.
The Angel's Wing, I think, was one for Blood Angels way back in the day.
Right, so some other thing, and it might change what units you can take. It definitely change what rules you have.
Yeah, but no matter what happens, you will only ever have rules of a 2-page spread out in front of you to look at. And so the stratagems are tied to what detachment you're taking. Mm-hmm. So if you take the Gladius Strike Force, you get certain stratagems. And if you take, let's say, a hypothetical Lion's Blade or Angel's Wing Strike Force or whatever, like the Gladius used to be in the day, you could take alternate versions. You would get different stratagems, different enhancements for your army, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So it would be replacement of what is currently there, but you would always get Oath of Moment, which is the Space Marine faction ability.
So it's like you're playing Space Marines, and then within Space Marines, you're playing your type of Space Marines.
Exactly. And then they revealed a detachment ability for Tyranids, and we'll cover that in a second. But other broad changes is the phase structure has been changed and streamlined. So the psychic and morale phases are gone.
Can't fail psychic powers if there's no psychic phase.
See, you say that, but that's not actually true.
No.
The abilities that a psyker might have are rolled into other phases. So if you have an ability that makes sense to happen in the movement phase, for example, let's say you're a WEIRDBOY, which they have a new data sheet now, and we'll cover that later on in this video. If you're a WEIRDBOY and you have to jump, that would trigger in the movement phase. No need to have a whole nother phase to do all these abilities in.
Right. And that's written on your data sheet as well.
It is. It's a data sheet ability. So no need to go shuffle through and try and find a generic list of psychic powers that you have access to. You get them on your data sheet.
Nice.
Yes. So
no more morale phase either.
No more morale phase.
They can't claim that this edition is going to have the most impactful morale phase.
It very well might, though, because it is rolled into the command phase.
Ah.
So that means you figure out if your guys have good leadership in the command phase.
Nice.
Figure out if they pass their checks.
And it looks like they also went up to 12 core stratagems instead of just the generic 6 that we have.
Yes, so you get 12 core, and they've promised that they are going to be more impactful, as rapid ingress, we can see here, is very strong. And then you'll get 6 from your detachment. So you'll have 18 to keep track of at any point in time, which is quite a few. It's about as many as you have to keep track of now, right? You know, you might have 12 good stratagems in your book and 12 trash stratagems you never use ever. Mm-hmm. And then you had the 6 generic ones. Now you'll have 12 generic ones. They said they're all going to be good. And then you just have 6 to keep track of from each detachment.
I know from a design standpoint, the philosophy is basically they have like 20, 30 stratagems, 20, 30 relics, and all these codexes, and people use the same 4 or 5 over and over and over, and the others just get ignored. So I think they're just trying to streamline it so you actually just have the ones that you want to use.
Yep. And also as an opponent, it's way easier to keep track of 6 stratagems your opponent has rather than 30. And then there are 12 core stratagems that do not change army to army to army. So It's way easier. It's way easier not get gotcha to just know what your opponent has at their disposal.
So let's see if we can, assuming that there's probably a command reroll. Rapid Ingress is definitely one.
You would assume. I hope they keep command point reroll. Can you imagine?
I don't know if there's auto pass morale because morale's different. Maybe there's interrupt still. Maybe there's Overwatch still.
I don't know. Maybe there's cut them down.
Cut them down. Most used stratagem.
The best generic stratagem ever.
John used it not ironically seriously. He used it in a stream game we played last week.
I've lost important characters to cut them down. I lost my super Blood Angels bike chaplain who lived on 1 wound and then fell back and died.
Oh, I would so use it on that guy.
Oh yeah, and he definitely died there. So we'll have to see. I'm really looking forward to 12 core stratagems. Just easier to keep track of. Less bad feelings during a game when you're like, oh, I didn't know you had access to that stratagem. You know, oh, I didn't. It's way easier. These are my 6 stratagems. This is all you have to worry about. And then it's the 12 same stratagems everyone else has to use. Maybe some armies are going to have different ways that they can use the core stratagems. We'll see, but I'm really looking forward to it. Rapid Ingress is a very interesting stratagem.
Brand new, too.
It's brand new. And it basically says that at the end of your opponent's movement phase, you can bring a unit on from reserves for 1 CP.
So
that's super strong.
Let's talk about where we might actually use this. Your opponent's moved. He's put his stuff where he's going to use his units in the following shooting phase, charge phase, fight phase, etc. But all of a sudden, you use Rapid Ingress and a unit of Striking Scorpions or 10 Terminators or something very scary just appears 9 inches away, presumably, from the enemy, behind a wall so they're not getting blown up. And then, next turn, they're just right there to charge you.
Yep. So it means, this at least means that you need to think a lot more on your turn about what your opponent can do. And on your opponent's turn, you get ways to interact with them. So that's going to be very interesting. You have the ability to just bring a unit in. They walk up, they're going to start shooting onto an objective. No, there's 10 Terminators there now.
Yeah,
true. You're not taking that objective away.
I think this is going to be one of those strats where it takes some time to really understand how the right ramifications and uses of this are. But off the top of my head, I think just taking something good and putting in reserve so you can threaten to use a strat every turn really will be a mind mess with your opponent. And that there's just not much interaction in 9th edition where I'm taking my turn, you sit there while I take my turn. This seems to be a lot more like, man, what are they going to do to me in my turn?
Yeah, and I hope they go in this direction more in the future, because I think this is awesome. A lot more interactivity on your opponent's turn, a little bit less of the I go, you go, you take your movement phase, I trust you, I'm going to go get a drink, like...
The classic.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the bathroom, you take your movement phase, it's fine. And a lot more, interactivity on your opponent's turn. I love this stratagem. I hope they go in this direction more.
Well, I love the direction and the interactivity. When am I going to go get my drinks or go on my bathroom breaks?
Whenever you want.
Whenever I want.
Whenever you want, Nick. Hey. On your turn. Pop the clock over to you. Let's go to the bathroom.
Oh, not the clocks.
Bring your opponent with you.
Yeah, it could be a group adventure.
It could be. All right, so building an army has also changed. It's gotten a lot simpler. Armies are way easier to construct. You pick a faction, and then you pick one of its detachments. That's it. So if theoretically, I would pick Tyranids, and then I would pick the, the Invasion Fleet? Yes, the Invasion Fleet. So I would pick Tyranids, and then I would pick Invasion Fleet. An Invasion Fleet would be one of its detachments. You get a unique ability for being Tyranids, and you get a unique ability from the Invasion Fleet.
And the Invasion Fleet is probably better at invading.
You would think that they invade.
Maybe even better at fleeting.
I doubt that very much. Because what if there's other kinds of fleets? You don't know.
That's true.
Yep. And so it looks like they're not doing detachments, although they might have some kind of like battalion system, like in AOS, where you get benefits for including certain units. But as of now, we do not know. So far, it's very simple. You pick a character at least. You can't have more than one epic hero, so no having the Lion and Gulliman in the same army.
Wait. 2 of my most notable tournament losses ever have been to Magnus and Mortarion holding hands. Is that gone?
It looks like Maggie Morty might be gone.
If they're not epic heroes, I don't know who is.
Maybe they have a special rule where if they're playing against you, if they have Maggie, they just get Morty.
No.
Maybe. Who am I to say? If you're playing Nick Nanavati, you get both Magnus and Mortarion. Go.
You would think that wouldn't work, but it really does.
It really, really would. It really would.
I'm glad they kept Rule of 3. I think that when that goes away, like it had been in the past, the edition typically sucked.
Yeah.
And this is great.
It's a great safety valve of just efficient datasheet breaking game.
It's like a hard stop. The game's broken because this datasheet exists, like Desolators, whatever. You can only take 3.
It's fine. So you have to take at least a character. You get max of one of each epic hero. I assume those are going to be Primarchs and Lords of War and stuff like that.
Fate Weaver.
Sure, why not? He died.
Epic.
He died to Kroot.
He's a hero. That's not real.
And then you get up to 3 of the same data sheet, and this is new, up to 6 of the same battle line or dedicated transport. I would assume battle line is like in AOS, where they use the same term, and it's basically your troops, but some factions get different battle lines than others. We'll have to see if they import that.
I was thinking battle lines would be like HQ's elites, troops, fast, heavy. So like in Arcs of Rome detachment, you pick one of those categories to have up to 6 of, and the rest of them are all 3s. But this I was assuming was just 6 elites, 6 heavy, 6 troops, 6 fast, but maybe not.
No, it's not. Battle line is the replacement for troops. Yes. So they're like your basic units. So battle line in Age of Sigmar, battle line are like your basic units, and then some sub factions make certain units battle line. Mm-hmm. So they definitely said that it's like the replacement for your troops. So like intercessors would be battle line.
That makes sense. Okay, so it's not like a force org. It's just you can take 6 intercessor squads.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And so that's new. So before it was you could take as many of troops as you want. Mm-hmm. And now you can take up to 6, and you can take up to 6 dedicated of the same dedicated transport.
Oh man, the 9 boats, 9 Star Weavers list is going to be 6.
It's going to be 6 if that's even how Harlequin plays at all.
That's true.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We got a $5 super chat from Mark Thompson. Maybe he knows. Thanks so much for your support, Mark. I love you guys. Excited for 10th and looking forward to all the fresh competitive content and learning a new edition together. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Mark. We're looking forward to 10th as well. And we're actually, as soon as we're able to, we're going to start releasing tons of 10th edition content in the War Room. So you can get a free 3-day trial of that content down the link below, vhx.tv/warroom.
Yep. And taking a massive L to our reading comprehension, Nick, don't worry, you can still get hit by Magnus and Morty. It says one of each epic hero. So I assume epic hero is just named character.
Every time with the words.
Yeah, they're rough. Don't worry, Magnus and Morty is here to stay, Nick. It's coming for you.
I don't like it.
So I assume epic hero is just a replacement for named character because there's just not really like a replacement for that. Like it just says you can only take one of this character.
Yeah.
Now it will just say epic hero.
It's like instead of the word unique, they use the word epic. Like,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Magnus and Morty stepping on you is pretty epic.
Another $2 super chat from Ear Elephant. Thank you. Nick, would you name a planet after himself? Be honest. Oh, I would. Yeah, if I could name a planet after myself, I would. Like, absolutely. Ryan got it right. I'm not talking no smack.
All right, faction rules. So you get an ability from your faction, as we said. So Space Marines get Oath of Moment, a fairly cracked sounding special rule.
What's Oath of Moment do?
So if your army faction's Adeptus Astartes, blah, 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 beginning of every turn, you pick an enemy unit, and you get rerolls to hit and wound against them for your entire army.
That's good.
It's really good. What if you got Seal of Oath from Ultramarines? One of the biggest reasons to go there, but you got it
every turn.
Every turn on a different target.
That you can choose.
Yes.
At the start of your turn. So it's like, oh, this turn I'm going to attack that unit. Let's reroll hits and wounds against
I'm going to reroll hits and wounds against that unit in particular.
All right, so this is why they allowed Magnus and Morty to still hold hands, because Oath of Moment exists.
Yeah, that seems really strong.
Maybe the game will be a lot more MSU, multiple small unit centric, as a viable tactic. That would, limit the ability of this rule's effectiveness. It's like, okay, there's 10 Venoms in front of me. There's 6 Venoms in front of me.
There you go.
But I can reroll to wound against one of them. That's not super exciting. But against like one big super hard target.
Yep, reroll hits and wounds and adios muchacho. You're gone. That seems really strong, so we'll have to see how that.
I wonder if that's just
interacts
like
with the meta.
If that is one of the strongest army rules, because Space Marines, or if it's like generically that's the power level.
Yeah, which makes me really confused because they said that there were going to be fewer rerolls in 10th edition than in 9th, and then they immediately released Oath of Moment, and I was like, what?
It sounds a lot like how this is the most impactful morale ever.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Potentially there's fewer, like, characters giving rerolls, and this is, like, Space Marines' thing, so we'll have to see.
Space Marines are kind of the reroll army.
They do like the rerolls, yeah, they do love those. And then you get a second ability based off which detachment you picked. Tyranids can get the Invasion Fleet ability if they pick that detachment. So if you pick the Invasion Fleet, you get hyper adaptations, which means I assume you're good at invading. And then you pick one of 3 of these abilities at the start of the first battle round. You get one of these. So you get either sustained hits, lethal hits, or precision.
Do we know what those do?
So sustained hits is exploding 6s to hit. They revealed sustained hits and lethal hits in the same article that they revealed this rule, and then precision when they revealed characters.
Oh.
So sustained hits is exploding 6s to hit. And lethal hits is 6s to hit auto wound. And then precision lets you target a character that is in a unit.
Yeah, so we'll cover that whole in a unit shebang in a bit here. But all 3 of these are very good, and the fact that you can tailor them at the start of your game is really good. Like Sisters, they just have effectively sustained hits 1 in their current army rule sets, exploding 6s to hit. And it's like they just take that almost every game because it's awesome. And then lethal hit 6-hit auto wound, that's an amazing rule if you're playing against monsters or vehicles. The thing it's specifically going to work against. And then leader, character killing, I don't know how effective this will be. I don't know if lists are going to be made out of characters leading units. But if that's the case, I imagine Hero Hammer is going to be a thing a little bit.
I'm going to try and make it be a thing.
So I'm going to play Tyranids against Jack, and I'm going to pick Hive Predators, and I'm going to precision all his characters out. Yeah, we like that face.
All right. Then datasheets have changed. Profiles have changed in 2 key ways. If you have a lower leadership number, it's now better. Leadership 11, bad. Terrible. Don't want that.
I love that they did this from an intuitive perspective. Like, I remember learning and teaching the game as a kid, and I was like, why do I have to roll under my leadership but above everything else? So now it's in line, like, higher stats equals better. But, lower stats.
No, lower stat better.
Still not...
It's in line with ballistic skill and weapon skill, where a lower number is better, and you have to roll above it. I personally like seeing big number.
Yeah.
Little number don't make me happy. Big number make me happy.
I can get its value from a consistency thing. You just have to roll higher than whatever their stat is. But you know what I really dislike about it?
Siegs.
Siegs is a monster at rolling sixes, and one of the best tactics you can use against him is using that against himself. He can roll 6 on command, but he can't turn it off. So, like, when he has to fail a leadership test by rolling a 6 on a d6,
now
it's going to happen.
To be fair, once he rolls his combat attrition, he rolls very low on that.
That's
so
true.
Maybe that will carry over.
Maybe. He's got to have a weakness in that robotic armor.
You will think. You would think. And so leadership has been inverted. So I would assume Custodies would have like leadership 3 instead of leadership 11, something like that. Because you have to roll higher than that to succeed. So
I'll make Custodies fail.
No, you won't.
You remember those good old days where you would roll leadership, and if you fail it, your unit would just start running off the battlefield, and then you just run with your senior council or something?
Sadly.
That's what we're looking for.
Sadly, yes. And then up next is this new stat, completely new stat, OC. OC is a value that determines how good a unit is at controlling objectives. So if I have a 5-man intercessor squad on an objective, right now that counts as 5 models on the objective.
Mm-hmm.
With OC2, they count as 10.
Each model would count as 2. 2 times 5 is 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you add up, I believe they revealed a Rhino. Rhino is
2.
I think a Rhino's 3.
3?
I think it's 3. So you would just add up all of the OC values of all the models you have on an objective, and that determines if you control it or not.
So I really like this. It means not every model is equivalent. Like a guardsman shouldn't, or like a Grotch really shouldn't be the same as a Terminator in terms of who's holding this objective. Right now it is. Actually, the Grot's probably better because it's objective secured. But also with this, it kind of exists already, right? In, the Warglaves and Armigers and the Knight armies, they count as functionally OC5 in today's world. Knights are basically OC10. There are Space Marine warlord traits and demons have things that make you count as 2 models for the purposes of objectives. That's all kind of already in the game. This just formalizes it and give it to everybody.
I see. Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot more in. So it sounds like objective secured is gone. I believe they may have even confirmed that. I don't remember, but OC is going to replace that. Some units are naturally better at controlling objectives, but if you outnumber them enough, they're not better than 30 Grots, you know?
It's also going to be nice when, like, a tank doesn't just get contested by a singular dude, no matter who cares what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're really good at securing objectives, that will be a legitimate role. You know, I can't wait for, like, an OC 20 something.
Oh, yeah. Knights OC 50.
Yes.
My objective
so,
until you kill me.
If a unit is designed to kill, they better kill the objective clear. Otherwise, they're going to have low OC. But if they're good at holding objectives, they might be a little less killy.
This is another good way
trade-off
to balance units, too. Like, it might be amazingly durable or amazingly killy, but not actually good at holding objectives. Or kind of worthless as a unit, but great at holding objectives.
Exactly. So, to wrap us out for today, we have some new data sheets. We've got 3 new data sheets that have been previewed, and we can go over. We've got the Orc Weirdboy, we've got the Terminator Librarian, and the Termigant.
Wow!
So let's start with the Weirdboy. So if we look at him, he looks kind of the same. He's got a 6-inch move. He's still toughness 5. Very happy that they left toughness in the game. Thank you.
Is that move faster than the Weirdboy today? Is it Weirdboy 5?
I think Weirdboy is 5 actually now.
That might be all orcs just move up 1 move.
It's possible, yeah. That would be great from an orc perspective, please.
Yeah.
He has a 5-up save instead of 6-up. 4 wounds, so he's not getting wounds bloated. Mm-hmm. Leadership 7, which is not great on a character, and an OC of 1. But you know, the rules here are really, the abilities are really the ones that I think are going to be the most fun to watch you react to, because I don't think you've read this.
I have not, but
all right.
I like the Edbanger real quick. It's a psychic power that exists today, but now it's just a gun on their data.
Yep, so psychic weapons are just guns now. You'll have a gun on your datasheet. It has psychic keywords, so I assume it still interacts with, like, Sisters of Silence or whatnot.
Yeah,
things like
it
that.
probably has its own rules to follow with psychic as a keyword.
Exactly. 1 attack, it hits on a 4, because he's an orc. Strength 6, AP 3, 1 damage, and AP 3 is very high in this edition. Power Fists are AP 2, Power Weapons are AP 2 on the Terminator's datasheet, so
far what we've seen, basically everything is coming down 1 AP.
Everything, it looks like things are coming down 1 AP. But if he's leading a unit, you add 1 to the strength and damage characteristics for every 5 models in that unit, but while it contains 10 or more models, that weapon has the hazardous ability. I don't think we know what hazardous does quite yet, but I can assume it's not great for him.
Sounds like it's going to be hazardous to fire the weapon.
Yes, it sounds like you might Gets Hot. I believe hazardous is a replacement for Gets Hot, but we don't know how it works yet.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But how about you read out what DeJump does? Because I don't think you know what this does, and I'm going to watch your head explode.
All right. I'm not a weird boy, Jack. My head's not exploding.
His head's exploding, that's for sure.
Once per turn, at the end of your movement phase, 1 weird boy from your army can use this ability. If it does, roll a d6. On a 1, that weird boy's unit suffers d6 mortal wounds. On a 2+, remove this weird boy's unit from the battlefield and set it up again anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away horizontally from all enemy models. So you roll 2 up and you just jump.
Yep.
Like you would now.
Don't roll a 1.
Roll a 1.
Don't roll a 1.
So this is why they need the CP reroll.
Don't roll that 1, Nick.
They also have Deadly Demise D3, which I think is the equivalent of exploding, and it's nice to see that it's not just on vehicles. So, like, I guess your Psychers can explode too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't.
Imagine if this guy rolls a 1, kills himself, and then explodes.
Yes, because he has Deadly Demise.
Yeah.
Deadly Demise is the replacement for Explodes. So, yes, he could definitely roll a 1, kill himself, explode, do more damage.
So, in theory, he could do, like, 9 mortal wounds to his friends.
You would think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot.
We got a $5 super chat from Slack Onion. Slack Onion, we really appreciate your support. Which army identity and playstyle do you want to see changed the most in 10th? What a great question. I think Death Guard need the most love. I actually kind of like their identity of slow, durable stuff. They need to not be terrible at it. And then I think Deathwing could use a new identity. Identities just sit there with Terminators.
I want Space Marines to have a different identity right now. Space Marines are supposed to be the elite of the elite, and right now they just got a bunch of free weapons and war gear, and so they're just running around the battlefield as fragile, expendable bodies carrying high-powered weapons. That just doesn't feel right.
No, that sounds more like Dark Eldar.
That does, doesn't it? All right, so that was the Weird Boy. Seems very interesting. OC of 1, so he's not going to contribute much to holding objectives. But he can jump you, and he does shoot an Ed Banger at you.
Kapow!
Ed Banger can hit really hard.
So Ed Banger is still one shot that hits on a 4.
It is. Yeah, but you can... If he's in a 10 model unit, it's strength 8, AP3, damage 3.
If it hits.
All right, we got a Terminator Librarian. Maybe someone who's being a little more safe with their psychic powers.
The Librarian in Terminator armor is slower than the Weird Boy.
Well, he's in Terminator armor.
The stats are different.
Yeah, the stats do be different. Terminators still move 5.
He's toughness 5, too.
Terminators are toughness 5.
Just across the board.
Just across the board. Terminators are toughness 5. Long time coming, I think. 2-up save, because he's a Terminator. Only 5 wounds.
That's what they have today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Only 5. What do you want? 7? 9?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's leadership 6+. So it looks like a replacement for leadership 9 currently would be like leadership 6.
Yeah, which is interesting because you would think 8 becomes 6, 9 becomes 5.
But it looks like they want people to fail leadership more often.
Yeah. This is definitely like 6 and 7s. You know how many times I failed psychic powers on a 6? And then spend a CP to still fail?
All the time. All the time.
I've
watched people fail 6-inch charges repeatedly with a CP reroll.
Yeah.
I failed them myself. One thing about Ed Banger, it's precision.
Oh, okay. So that gives it an actual purpose in life.
Yeah, you can Ed Bang any character.
Kaboosh Librarian.
Just boom. So then we've got the abilities and weapons, and Smite is a gun now.
Yeah.
So we got a combi weapon, which is anti-infantry 4+, so it'll always wound infantry on a 4-up. Is devastating wounds, which do a mortal on a 6 to wound.
Okay.
Yep. And that's the same as an assault cannon that they revealed.
Yeah.
And then we got rapid fire 1, which I believe means that you add 1 to the number of shots if you are within half range.
Which is kind of like what it is now. Instead of doubling, you add 1, but on a one-shot weapon, that's functionally the same. On a D6-shot weapon, though, it probably makes more sense.
Yep. Or you can have a Stormbolter, which is just double the number of shots, and it hits on a 3 instead of a 4.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Just-
So it's really interesting that the Librarian Space Marine dude has Smite, but the Weird Boy doesn't. Because right now, Smite, everybody has Smite.
Yeah, I think they're just naming. So Ed Banger is his Witchfire, and I assume that Smite is the Librarians, and then different people will have things named differently.
You think every type of Psyker is going to have a Witchfire ability and then like an actual power? Like he has Veil of Time as well?
That's what it looks like, but we'll have to see as more Psychers come out. I'm really interested in how psychic powers work going forward, because I like psychic powers. I like stacking psychic powers and doing shenanigans.
Yeah.
So Smite, you can either decide that it's going to be a overcharge it, or you can not overcharge it. And if you don't overcharge it, it's D6 shots, hitting on a 3 at strength 5, AP 1, damage D3. Not bad. Not bad. But if you decide to overcharge it, it's the same number of shots hitting on 3s, but it's strength 6, AP 2, damage D3 with devastating wounds.
I really dislike D6 shots, but
Yeah.
it's pretty decent as a profile. I'd say it's worse than its current incarnation, just because Mortal Wounds is Mortal Wounds. You know what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, it seems like they want to reduce the amount of
Mortal Wounds in the game.
mortal wounds in the game, so
Unless you're taking a Weird Boy.
I'm all about that. Well, that's to himself.
Take 3 Weird Boys, roll them all.
And then we got a forced weapon that's 4 attacks, and you can model this as either a staff, an axe, a sword, doesn't matter.
It's all the same force.
All forced weapon at
finally.
Yes. We're back to that. Remember,
it went full circle. It used to be just had power weapons, then you had power maul, fist, sword, axe, and now once more
back to forced weapon.
force weapons.
So 4 attacks at weapon skill 3, strength 6, AP 1, damage D3. Not bad, but it does look like the damage in the game is coming down, at least the AP.
The AP definitely is.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Then we got the abilities, so you can deep strike, which is just a rule, rather than just being a thing we all called 50 different identically worded abilities.
Subterranean assault, grav shoots, teleportation chambers, deep strike.
Yep. He's a leader. He comes from the faction Oath of Moment, which means he rerolls against anything and everything every turn. So, 2 abilities. Psychic Hood. While he's leading a unit, models in that unit have the Feel No Pain 4+ ability against psychic attacks.
That's really good.
That is really good. So he'll help you tank your way through psychic attacks. So against Thousand Suns, you're going to be happy you have this guy.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Veil of Time. While he's leading a unit, weapons equipped by models in that unit have the Sustained Hits 1 ability.
And that's exploding 6.
That is exploding 6s to hit. That is pretty good.
I wonder what units he's going to be able to... I guess Terminator Librarian joins Terminator units, but what is a regular Librarian going to join?
Librarian units.
Whoever, the book club.
Let's see. And then Terminators have a 4-up invulnerable save now.
Okay, that's pretty nifty burritos. Better than the 5-up.
Better than the 5-up. We'll have to see what Storm Shields do. Maybe it gives them a 3-up invul.
Don't say a 3-up.
Maybe a 3-up invul.
Just stop it with the 3-up invulns.
You knew where I was going with that. All right, last up, before we wrap up for today, we've got the Humble Termigant.
The Humble
Termigant.
Move 6, toughness 3, 5 armor, that's an improvement. 1 wound, leadership 8, which is bad these days, and objectives control 2. 2! Each little guy is 2 models.
That's right, you better kill them, buddy. Yeah. They might have a 5-up save right now. I think they actually do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Termigants don't get saves against my attacks.
That's true. It's kind of a problem with this edition in general that they're looking to fix.
So the flesh bore, 18 inches, hits on a 4, 1 shot, strength 5, AP nothing, 1 damage. Okay, so it's currently AP 1, and I hate that. Still a little bit bothered that it's strength 5, but at least it's not AP 1.
It hits on a 4,
There's like 50 of them.
Yeah, that's true. There's a million of them. Up close, so that's assault, which means you can fire it even if you moved.
So
even if you advance.
Do they get all 3 of these weapons?
No, they pick one.
They choose one.
They choose, they don't have 70. I mean, they're Tyranids. They might have 70
do
arms.
have arms.
So, Termigant Spine Fists are assault, which we know lets you advance and shoot. Pistol, which, we can infer lets you shoot in combat or something, but we're not 100% sure yet, I believe. And then Twin Linked lets you reroll wound rolls.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So, yeah, fewer rerolls in this edition.
My basic trips just reroll wounds. What? Well, they're only strength 3, so it kind of makes it reasonable.
So the idea is a Twin Linked weapon would be half the number of shots it is currently now, but reroll wounds, which does make it worse.
It has 2 attacks.
I don't know. Maybe they have 4 attacks now. I don't know. I don't know how Spine Fist work. I think they currently make 1 shot per attack that the model has.
Oh, that sounds like Tyranids.
That sounds like a Tyranids, but I don't know for sure. You never see these things. Certainly, I just tune out when my opponent shoots me with Termigants, tune back in to find out I have to make 2 2-up saves.
Yeah. Back in the day, and I mean like 4th edition, 5th edition, you actually took Spine Gaunts, Spine Fist Termigants, and 8-man units for without number. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah. So Termigant Devourer is 2 shots without all that fancy nonsense, but shooting at 18 inches. That hits on a 4, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage instead of strength 3. And then we've got Close Combat that is incredibly mediocre. Their faction is Synapse, so that will be the Tyranid ability. I assume it has something to do with that horrible leadership stat of 8+.
Yeah, and maybe there's some instinctive behavior as well associated with that.
Maybe we'll have to find out, bring some of that back. Maybe, instead of entire sub-factions having lurk, hunt, and feed, we have units lurk, hunting, and feeding.
Yeah, right.
So the final rule here is Skulking Horrors. Once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal, advance, or fallback move within 9 inches of this unit, if this unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, it can make a normal move of up to D6. So when your opponent moves within 9 inches, this unit can move.
And this is like a generic shoot choice. This kind of goes in line with the whole idea that there's more interactivity to do on your opponent's turn. Because there's that stratagem that lets you revive from reserve, right? And then now you move towards my Termigants. You're setting up for like a 6-inch charge. Let me move real quick. Oh, I rolled a 4. Now it's a 10-inch charge.
Yeah, that sounds obnoxious. That is almost identical to the redeploy stratagem in Age of Sigmar, and I know you don't know this.
I don't.
You don't know? The redeploy stratagem is 1 CP generic. When you move within 9 inches of an enemy unit, they can just move D6 inches. It is frustrating.
Well, what about if it's on all of your Termigants for no CP?
I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that at all.
No.
But I think it is... I hope they do a lot of rules like this where it's super flavorful and unique, but it's on the data sheet rather than buried in some rules.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
It does seem like everything I need to play this Termigant, aside from its points cost, is right here on this piece of paper.
Exactly. And I think that's what they're trying to do. You just need the 2 pages of rules in front of you for your faction and detachment, and then you're set.
There's a keyword here called Endless Multitude. I don't know what that does, but it sounds like there's a lot of them.
My guess, just off the top of my head, is the Tervigon might have some abilities that refer to endless multitudes.
The Horvigon might as well.
Yeah, if that's... Sure, why not?
Look, there's a lot of things we don't know about 10th edition yet. There's a lot of things still to come out. The Horvigon could be one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's as likely as anything. Let's call it that. So... to wrap us up for today, we've got a $2 super chat from Bonsai Kitty Gaming.
Woo woo!
How do you think GW will handle Death Watch kill teams?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's a question they handle differently every time they do it.
It could be like they have like one guy with this weapon loadout, one guy with this weapon. It's just like told to you. It could be you have like a variety of different weapons and you just choose what your unit has and it costs this many points. Maybe they'll preview some Death Watch so we have a real answer for you. I don't know. That's the wild one.
I don't know. Maybe they say make your unit up of one model from any Space Marine. God, that would be weird. Any Space Marine data sheet. I don't know. It sounds pretty likely that they'll have a Death Watch veteran data sheet that you can just take that and go. Maybe they'll have a variety of Death Watch veteran. I have no idea.
No one knows.
That's going to be one of the weird ones for sure.
That pretty much wraps us up for today, everybody. There's a lot more. Oh, there's more.
Yeah, maybe a Tyragon that summons Hive Tyrants.
I don't want that.
That might be the case.
I can live with summoning Hormigons, not Tyrants.
I mean, I'm just saying, the Horvigon, the Tyragon, the Malaseptagon.
Not that guy. You can just add Gons, Jack.
Gone.
I mean, the Trigon does exist.
All right, that takes us to the end of what we got to cover for today. But if you think, hey, there's more 10th stuff that's been released. When will they cover that? Next week.
Next week, we'll be back, everybody. We got another 10 Talk coming to you Thursday. We're going to be doing these up and coming through the edition's launch. And then as the edition launches, as soon as we're legally allowed to talk about stuff and they give us information to talk about, we will be in the War Room on this YouTube channel, slamming you with the bestest 10th edition content that there is.
Absolutely. And if you like this content, you want to see more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps us out so much. Hit the little bell icon and it will notify you whenever any of our videos go live. And barring that, just leave a like, leave a comment, please. It helps us out. And if you're interested in even more of these videos, we have more on in the War Room at thewarroom.vhx.tv. But if that's a mouthful for you, it's down in the description below. Down there alongside a 3-day free trial of the War Room if you wanted to try it out. So we're looking forward to seeing anyone who wants to in there. And we got a whole bunch of content all about 10th edition that we're going to be rolling out.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we will catch you later.
Bye-bye.